When you crank your vehicle's engine, the car's dash lights are all expected to illuminate, after which they ought to switch off one by one, leaving the dash clear so that you can focus on the instrument cluster in front of you. However, what happens when all the lights go off one after the other, leaving the lone brake lights brightly illuminated as if it's a guiding star for you? This video will help you pinpoint what you need to check out on your own, even before considering calling the attention of a mechanic. 1. The parking brake. Illuminated on the instrument cluster when engaged, the emergency brake light stays on while the e-brake is disengaged. At this point, the parking brake light goes off and everything normalizes. Why this is easy and quite straightforward, most of the time, motorists and vehicle owners generally need to remember to disengage the parking brake before driving off. If you notice that your Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, GM or whatever brand you are driving has the brake light on right on the cluster when it ought not, this is the first thing to look at. You likely have forgotten to disengage the parking brake. Simple as this is, this usually tops the list of the various reasons why the brake light stays on when it should not. 2. The brake fluid level. The brake system of a modern car is powered by hydraulic fluid, which sits in a reservoir, usually in the hood of the vehicle. This hydraulic fluid reservoir generally has a lower and upper mark that the fluid must stay within to guarantee safe, reliable braking. If for any reason the fluid goes below the lower level, the pressure in the brake lines and by extension the efficacy of your brakes could be impacted. To avoid this, once hydraulic fluid gets critically low, the brake warning light illuminates the cluster and stays on till the challenge is sorted. If your parking brake is released appropriately but the brake light stays on, checking the hydraulic fluid level and topping up as required should be next. 3. The ABS unit. The anti-lock brake system of a vehicle is an integral part of the brake system. This system, if equipped on your vehicle, actively prevents the locking up of the brakes when in an emergency braking situation. This can be life-saving and overall ensures safer driving. The downside of this smart life-saving technology is that things could go bad and the pump could fail. When this happens, one of the first signs will be the illumination of the brake light on the cluster and the fact that it stays on even when it ordinarily ought not to. On some models, this will be accompanied by an illumination of the ABS malfunction light, which will unequivocally point to a fault in the ABS, usually the pump. 4. ABS sensors. Sometimes the ABS pump is fine and has no issues whatsoever. Instead, it is any of the 4 tire-mounted sensors of the ABS that are culprits. Such challenges usually range from physical damage to death or water ingress. To isolate things up and rule out the sensors, you will need to jack up the vehicle and take a close look at all the sensors and their wiring, making certain that everything is as it should be. If you find anything out of place, there you have the culprit. 5. General brake lines. The brake lines are an indispensable part of the overall brake architecture. They convey fluid on demand when the brake pedal is depressed, causing a build-up of pressure in the caliper pistons, which classically acts on the brake pads, causing the vehicle to slow down or stop. If anything is to happen to these lines, say a rupture or they are seriously leaking hydraulic fluid and at risk of causing a potential failure of the brake system when needed, some models will notify you of such impending danger through the brake light staying on, illuminated on the instrument cluster. 6. The brake master cylinder. The job of ensuring that hydraulic fluid gets to the wheels and importantly in equal quantity when the brake pedal is depressed is that of the brake master cylinder. Unfortunately, like most wear and tear parts on a vehicle, it eventually gets bad and needs to be replaced. Signs that you have this challenge include a soft, spongy brake that won't simply hold pressure, usually accompanied by the brake light staying on and illuminating the instrument cluster. If this is your reality, you are likely dealing with a bad brake master cylinder, which depending on make or model is relatively easy to replace. An easy way to go around this is to simply plug in your OBD2 scanner and see what's wrong if you cannot isolate the root cause of your brake light staying on. Now, depending on the make and model of the OBD2 scanner or vehicle you are driving, things may or may not pop up. However, if you are using a high-end scanner like the model linked to in the description below and drive a relatively recent vehicle, you should be able to pinpoint exactly where the challenge is coming from and then fix it yourself, DIY style or with the help of a professional mechanic. If you enjoyed this DIY themed video, be sure to like and share it. This encourages me to make more DIY videos like this. If you would like to see more DIY action like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications so that you never miss any of the action. If you have a question, I'll be happy to address it in the comments below. Until the next one, keep wrenching.